All right, so this is 7.7, 17, and 19. It says find the exact value of the function given that sine of u is 5 over 13 and cosine of v is negative 3/5. All of this work here that you see is for problem number 18. So I'm going to use it to figure out number 17. So whenever they give you information like this, the very first thing is I'm always going to draw my picture. So they say both u and v are in Q2, meaning quadrant 2. So when I draw my drawings, I'm going to go, this is u, this is this is v, and they're both in quadrant 2. I'm going to draw a picture that is not to scale. Okay. And then I'm going to go back and read my information. So it says sine of u is 5 over 13. When they tell you that, they're saying, hey, I'm not opposite. Hey, I'm not hypotenuse, right? So for u, I'm going to draw my triangle so that 5 is the opposite and 13 is the hypotenuse. So u, 5, 13. And then according to that, I need to find my third side. So I would have to use the Pythagorean theorem. If you did the Pythagorean theorem, or if you know your triples, you would figure out that this is negative 12. There's a triple 5, 12, 13, meaning 5 squared plus 12 squared gives you 13 squared. The reason why it's called a triple is because these numbers are all nice and pretty. Okay. For v, it says very similar. It says cosine of v, which is adjacent over hypotenuse, is negative 3/5, right? So whenever you're doing this, know that the hypotenuse can never be negative. So when I draw this thing out, negative 3 goes to the adjacent side. Negative 3 goes to the adjacent side, and the hypotenuse is your 5. Does that make sense? So again, this is a triple, so this is 3, 4, 5. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look up my identity for the sum. And so the sum for these ones are u plus v. So this is the sum. And if you remember, it's just sine, cosine, cosine, sine. So I literally write sine, cosine, cosine, sine. And then for sine, it follows. So if it's a plus inside, then it's a plus outside. And then I go in and I put u, v, u, v. So the next step that I do is I go up to my triangles and I find the sine of u. And then I find the cosine of v. Hold on a second. Let me just do this. There. Sine of u and then cosine of v. Cosine of u and sine of v. Right? So now I'm going to go up to go up to u and find the sine of u, which they gave me was 5 over 13. So I'm just going to fill that out. So here's 5 over 13. And then I also want to find the cosine of u for this part, for the second part of that term, cosine u. So then I'm going to go negative 12 over 13 because cosine is just adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, and I'm going to keep that plus there because that's why he's there. I'm going to do the same thing with v. So go ahead and fill that out really quick for v. Go ahead and fill out cosine of v and sine of v. So that shouldn't have taken you long, especially at this stage. The stage that we're in is we're just pulling all this information. So the cosine of v is going to be negative 3 over 5, and the sine of v is going to be 4 over 5. And then this is just a matter of you simplifying and getting all that information in. So clearly my denominator is going to be 65 because 13 times 5 is 65. And then the numerator is going to be negative 15 minus 48. And whatever that is, let's see, that's 58, 63. So my answer is negative 63 over 65. Okay. So there's no way that you can do this problem without using your identity of sine, cosine, cosine, sine. It's called our sum identities on the trick sheet. And so that's pretty much it. So if you think about the parts of this problem, the first part of this problem that may have been challenging is like, oh, I have to draw out these triangles. Oh, I have to find the third side. And then from there, then I've kind of kicked you back to integrated 2, where you're just finding the sine and the cosine of a given angle in a right triangle. And then the quote unquote new part is 2 parts. Number 1, drawing your triangles just like we did for U and V. And number 2, using the identities. Everything after that is old stuff. Okay, so if you're uncomfortable with drawing your triangle, that's probably going to hinder you a lot on this test. Okay. Okay. So thanks for listening. Oh wait, number 19. Sorry, you guys asked. So the same thing goes for sine U minus V. The only thing that's going to be different is this plus sign that's in between there is going to be a subtraction sign. So now it's going to be negative 15 plus 48. So this is going to be the same exact thing, except for here it's going to be negative 15 plus 48, because it would be a minus over 65. So that would just be negative 33, I think. No, positive 33 over 65. And so there goes your answer. Okay. So again, just make sure that you take your time and understand it.